and welcome to another episode of On the Floor with Wayne and Rob. I'm Wayne Highlander, National Sales Manager for Bona Adhesive.
And I'm Rob Johnson from Bona Training.
Hey, Rob, how we doing?
Very good. Very good, Wayne. How you doing?
I'm well. Hey, did you ever win a Floor of the Year? Just checking. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Rob.
No, I was
Too soon. Too soon.
No, not at all. This is how it's going to be. I get it. My pause was for the music because I think every time we say Floor of the Year now, we got to play the trumpets, at least the trumpets.
I heard it in my head. I didn't know if you heard it too.
I hear it in my head every time.
Wow. Try it again. Floor of the Year? All right. Hey, today, Rob, we're going to talk about estimating bidding floors in today's climate. So you might say, as an avid listener, you guys already did that with Chris Zizza, which we did. We had Chris on, and he did a great job talking about bidding floors and everything. But man, everything's been blown out of the water. Absolutely, game has changed. I mean, it's a different game. Just that's how fast it changed, just in a year's time. So I think we'll talk about that, Rob.
Absolutely. I mean,
Rob,
the price of everything is just going crazy. And I think the other thing we got to talk about is people just seem to have a lot of extra money to spend. Nobody has done anything in a year. People have been off on vacations. People have been getting all sorts of money from the government. There's a lot of it's unbelievable how many guys who are coming to the schools are telling me that it's tough to come to the school because they are so busy. So many contractors. It reminds me of the grizzly in Salmon River. And he's got an arm load and he keeps picking them up, and he's dropping one as he's picking them up. There is just so much work out there now. Man, top dollar for everybody should be charged. Your prices should be skyrocketing just like the price of materials are.
Well, they have to. They have to. Let me ask you this, Rob. You ever give out an estimate to somebody, an estimate, and then you end up second guessing yourself, and you have it living in the back of your mind all the way up until when you put the job on the schedule and you driving to the job to do the job and all that?
I had an estimate. I'll tell you a quick story. I had an estimate that was that exact thing that you were just talking about. I was paranoid to give this estimate. Do you know how much the estimate was for?
No.
$250,000.
Wow.
It was just over $250,000. Okay.
Did you hit the wrong one too many zeros on the calculator?
No. It took me 4 days to build this estimate. And what it was it was a mall in Albany, New York, Cross Gates Mall. It's a big ass mall. And everything was wood walls, garbage cans, everything was oak. The floors, so they wanted everything sanded. Everything sanded, stained, coated. I had manpower prices. I had lift rental prices. I mean, I had everything. I remember just walking through them. I bet I walked through that mall. Oh God, I bet I've walked through it 10 times just to make sure.
Wow.
That there are 45 benches and 82 oak garbage cans, right? That's how it was. And walls that were 40 feet high. Walls of oak that were 40 feet high.
Wow.
So I finally get the estimate done. I had Pete look at it, had Pauline look at it. I looked at it, and I didn't want to submit. You know what I mean? When I got done with it, I almost just thought, you know what? I'm done. I'm happy. I figured it out. But holy crap, if I get this thing, right? But I'm the first guy to drop the bid off. So I'm sitting in the manager's office, give him the bid. He starts looking at it, and he looks over and he said, "This is insane." And I thought, oh, good.
Yeah.
Thank God, right?
Yeah.
thank God. So I was like, okay, well, I did it. This was
Thanks
my
for playing.
shot, right?
Yep.
Am I too high? Good. I never was upset about losing a job because I was too high, right?
Yeah.
So now Pete and my wife, I mean, if we get this job, it's going to change our life, right? So, I mean, it's going to change the whole trajectory of the company because we had never, I mean, not even, you know, never did anything that even close to that size.
Yeah. Out with the frozen dinners.
No more fish sticks for the kids.
Yeah.
It's nothing but T-bones. Well, anyway, so I said so they're like, what happened? What happened? I said, he told me I was insane. So, Pauline's a little depressed. And I know Pete, he was like me. It was a sigh of relief. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because
Yeah.
the other thing was going to be all night work, So,
Oh yeah.
so about 3 weeks later, I get a call from the guy. And now I'm crapping my pants. I'm like, oh my God, he threw me out of it. He didn't throw me out of his office, but it was like when he looked at it and said, "You're insane. This is crazy." I was like, "Okay, good. I did something right today."
Yeah.
So I call him back, and he goes, "Hey, I just want you to know, if we were gonna go through with the project, you would have won."
No kidding.
And I said, "What?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "You would have won." He goes, "Our company, we take the middle bid. We get 3 bids, and we take the middle." He
Wow.
goes, "You were the middle bid." He goes, "There was one guy higher, one guy lower. We dropped the high and the low, and he goes, you would have won the contract." He said, "We had no idea that it was going to cost this kind of money, but," he goes, "I know you put a little effort into it, so I just wanted to let you know that you would have won." So on one hand, I felt, wow, that's great. I was right.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, I was like, now I kind of want to do the job.
Yeah. It validates
not,
what you're
not
doing.
not only did I, okay, I got the money part right. I was like, now I want to climb Everest. I got a shot
Yeah.
at it. So,
Yeah.
but he said there's just absolutely no way. That he said
Wow.
we thought, we were thinking 20 or 30 grand, and he
Wow.
said
Yeah.
when we saw the bids come in.
Wow.
So
Wow.
yes, I know exactly what that feeling is of dread after you lay out an estimate and driving away thinking, "Oh my God," is
Well, you can't talk to a floor guy now that isn't swamped. I mean, and what have you. So I really think that. I mean, listen, if you're in demand, I mean, and you're getting all your jobs, one of the two things are happening, right? I mean, either that you don't have any competition, so you're getting all the jobs, or it's that busy and you need to raise your prices. In either case, you need to raise your price, right? I mean, and I think there needs to be a correction now. Um, look at builders across the country. Everybody. I don't care what the industry is raising their prices. Let the last guy to do that be the floor contractor. You know what I mean? And this is a chance that you can kind of make things right. I mean, if you didn't raise your prices like a year ago, whatever, and you wanted to or could have, or maybe should have, now is the opportunity, I think, to do it. And listen, again, we'll have to give our disclaimer that Rob and I are believe it or not um, accountants or
financial
lawyers,
wizards.
financial wizards of any sort. There's a reason my wife gives me $20 a day and makes me manage that. So just take this for what it's worth. But man, I mean, if there are less and less floor guys out there for the equality, the quantity of work that's out there. So for heaven's sakes, man, I mean, this is a time when, and because of the way that material now, it's not even a choice anymore in my mind. And also, when you put your bids out there now, there's got to be some kind of the price is only good for 10 days or whatever, or it's only good for now, because literally the prices on wood is changing day to day in some cases. So there's got to be some contingencies in there that you don't get caught where given a bid, and now it's gone up 25%. And nothing worse than doing a job and putting your heart and soul into it, and not getting, what you deserve to get out of the job. So whatever's gone on in the last 20 years, it changed last year. So with bidding jobs, and um, here's the thing too: every job is its own unique project, right? I think we get into, sometimes it's an easy formulation for us to say, oh, 350 a square foot or whatever. I'm just throwing out numbers now, or $4 a foot or whatever. But you really can't do that, because every single job has its own set of, every one of them's a custom job now. So they're not all cookie cutter. You can't, we don't treat them that way. And so, and you can't have the spikes of highs and lows of, oh, we didn't make any money on this job. We made a lot of money on this job. I mean, you need to make money on every single job. So I think that we have to recognize as an industry that really this is a game changer for everybody, that you've got to start looking at how you bid in these jobs now.
Bum and I were driving together. I was riding in his truck one day, and I don't know, it was about, I don't know, hour and a half ride or whatever. And I just, we were, just talking and stuff. And I saw some notes. I started reading some of his notes from his estimate. He was, doing some estimates, and I was reading notes and kind of looking at how he prices stuff out, and when I talk about the student teaching the teacher, so I start really looking at his stuff. Now, when I was doing estimates, back in the 80s and 90s, it was, you get 700 square feet, 275 a foot or whatever. Okay, that's what the price was.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't matter if you had cast iron radiators, didn't matter if you had baseboard heating, didn't matter if it was a kitchen or a dining room. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Closets. That was all, even a closet, right?
Yeah.
Same thing. However square, 6 square feet in a closet, there 6 square feet. So you look back at things and you're like, really? It took me, I was in that damn closet for 2 hours, right?
Yeah.
There's 9 corners in a closet, at least.
Yeah.
Because you get door jams and stuff. Well, I started looking at Bum's estimates, but he didn't write this on the estimate, but it was part of his worksheet. I think he said that he counted in one kitchen like 36 corners that he was going to have to do.
Yep.
Thresholds, door jams. He counts everything. And that's part of the price, not so much a square foot price, but how much work is going to go into each square foot, where it's just, it's just not a big square like a racquetball court, 4 corners and 800 feet and 4 corners,
Yep.
And boy, I looked at him and I said, geez, I wish I had looked at it this way when I was doing floors, full time.
Well, and I agree with you. I mean, like you talking about kitchens, like, if it's a 2,000 square foot job and 400 of it was a kitchen, well, whatever our price was, that was, it was the same price for that kitchen as it was for that big open room. I think kitchens should be double. I mean, or maybe even triple. You get a kitchen with an island in the middle of the floor. You've got all them can lights. It's a high traffic area. It's the area you probably won't get the most complaints about or whatever. It's going to get the toe kicks.
Yep. Moving refrigerators, moving stoves. Oh my God. I look back at that thinking, I cannot believe that I charged the same price for sand in the kitchen that I did sand in the dining room,
Yeah. Here's the other thing too, though, is I see when people like on the internet, you see people comparing, well, what do you get a square foot, or what do you get a square foot? In my opinion, it's very much localized, right? I mean, you can't compare yourself to somebody that's in an area, I'm going to say Mississippi, because the cost of living is lower than, say, Los Angeles, where, the cost of a house is probably 3 times more. So, yeah, I think we all have to put that in perspective. But, you need historical data when you're bidding a job, right? I mean, I'll tell you who the best I've seen of this is, I keep talking about Jeff Sheaves. his wife, Darlene, does a fantastic job with this. I mean, she will go through and count every single piece of edge of paper used on a job. She'll look at gas receipts and why is this gas more than this, and the job was only such and such miles down the road, and all that stuff. But the more you do that on your jobs, the more you have a like historical data of, okay, well, I know 1,000 square feet cost me X amount to do the job, right? I know that because that's what it's cost is what averaged over the last year, 2 years, 5 years, or whatever. So keeping records is, we talked about Chris Zizza, who would put everything in a bag. Remember that?
Oh,
And
the garbage bag. I remember I saw him at Domatex talking about that. He was
mhm.
doing a seminar at Domatex, and when I heard him talking about that, that's when I said, "Oh, we got to get him on the show."
Yeah,
That's the smartest damn thing I ever heard was how he just had his guys throw everything in the trash bag, and then the end of 2 weeks, every piece of paper, every T-bar, sleeve, whatever was used was dumped out on the floor, added up, and that's what it cost in sundry items to do those jobs. And definitely something you need to know, like you said with Jeff's wife counting the edge of discs and all that. No one, you have to know these costs, and
yeah,
especially nowadays where it's just so volatile out there. Things are
yeah,
changing so fast.
yeah. That's the word, volatile. It really is a business climate that is like none other. So you have to really look out for yourself now. That's why we're talking about this again. Again, even though we did this show not long ago, um, I think it's a different game right now.
But it
Um,
was so, it was such calm waters when we did this show.
yeah, but it's
You know what I mean? Everything, the prices were stable across the board on everything.
yeah. Well, I think the other thing you have to do too is you have to. It'd be interesting when you say, okay, um, here's what I think it's going to take us to do this job. I think it's going to take us about a week to do this job, and blah blah blah. I think you need to also look at your man hours and count the man hours that it takes you to complete a job, because all weeks are not created equal, right? Floor guys are known for, yeah, I worked all week. Well, a floor man week is sometimes different than like they're like dog years, right? So I mean, it's not 40 hours a lot of times. It's, yeah, it was a week, but it was 60 hours. So I think it's interesting to, and we used to do this is figure out the man hours that you think it's going to take on the job, right? If you think it's going to take 37 hours, you'll get that job done in a week because your floor people are studs. I mean, they're not afraid of hard work. We'll get that job done. That's just the way it is. But it might be 47 hours instead of 37 hours. And if you look at those 10 hours, you add that up, that's a hell of a lot of difference, right? So I think if we also estimating how much paper it's going to take to do these jobs for 1,000 square feet, what data do we have also just to support how many man hours it's going to take us? Because again, I can tell you I'll get this job done in a week. That might be 85 hours. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
you really, having putting this data in there all the time, I mean, you can never have too much to figure out what's going on with your business and where's the money going. Is that how many man hours is it taking us to complete this job, and then see how close you get. I estimated this to be 36 hours. It took 47. All right. Well, this happened 2 jobs in a row, 3 jobs in a row. I'm off on my numbers. And for heaven's sake, I mean, with these, like you working in New York or San Francisco or these other cities where you got to look at your travel time. It's 2 hours of your day in travel. Somebody's got to pay for that. So I don't know. I think
That was kind of funny what you said. A floor guy doing a 40-hour week.
yeah,
I don't think I've ever met a floor guy in my life who does a 40-hour week.
yeah, no,
Ever. Never. Absolutely never. Maybe
yeah,
union guys, because union guys are 40 hours, but residential guys, 40 hours. My gosh,
yeah,
that's kind of funny. I'll never forget one day I heard I was in my office and Bum's wife Katie was sitting in the kitchen with Pauline, and they were talking about when Bum was going to get done with a job, and Katie was saying to Pauline, my dad every day walked in the house. He walked through that door every single day at 5:45. He was a doctor. I think he was a doctor. So he was home the same exact time every day, 5:45. She said, I never know when he's coming home. And it's not like he's,
Yeah.
going out for drinks or something after work with the guys. She said, I know he's working, but he could be home at 2
Hmm.
or midnight. And Pauline goes, well, that's how floor guys are. This is Pauline talking. Nobody
Yeah.
knows I'm listening, right?
Yeah.
And Pauline's like, well, that's how floor guys are. If they're close to getting a coat, they're gonna stay. They're gonna
Yeah.
stay till they get that coat. Or if they're close to finishing up a room, nailing up a room,
Yeah.
they're gonna stay till that room's done.
Yeah.
And she said, all we can do is just try to keep their dinner warm for them. Because I stopped asking Rob, what time are you gonna be home? Because it was, I'll be home tonight.
Yeah.
Because all that figuring, I was as you were sitting there saying, figuring out your man hours, and you always have in your head, it's going to take this long, and I've done this 100 times. And then you make one pass with the drum and the paper is completely filled up,
Yeah.
and now all my figuring is completely out the door.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's why, to me, I'm kind of a big proponent of this. Is that you got to price each job individually, and don't have just a cookie cutter price per square foot, because just because it simplifies your bidding process or whatever. Every job's got to be treated like it's its own special job. And when it cracks me up when a builder, especially a custom builder, says, "Well, what's your square foot price when you're going to work for a custom builder?" Well, what's your square foot price? You know what I mean? I mean, custom builders don't work like that. They'll work like that if they're doing spec homes, where every home is going to be exactly the same. It's 1,200 square feet. Here's the layout. Every single one's the same. Then yes, but a custom builder is going to start with a base price, and then they're going to go up from there. What kind of cabinets? Okay, what kind of flooring? What kind of tile? And so to ask a floor guy, what is your square foot price? It's different on every job. It has
Right.
to be different on every job. You can lose your butt. I mean, and the other thing too is, if we throw in where we don't charge the vents, the flush mount vents, and we put them in for free. We don't, we tell people you need to move the furniture. We don't move the furniture, but okay, you've got a 3 chairs and a couch and a TV. You're too old to move them. Okay, we'll move those. There's liability involved in all. I've seen the nicest person in the world blame us for something that didn't happen. You know what I mean? Just
Sure.
deed goes unpunished. Then I have a funny story I'll tell you real quick. We, back, sometimes you have a razzle dazzle day. Like some day just a job that fills in the week. You know what I mean? Like you got 2,400 square feet, but you know what? We got this call. It's a small room. We can also get that job in, right? And
We
those were
can get
nice to
that.
have,
Yes. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So this was in Oakland, and we went to this lady's house, and I mean, it was a dump. I mean, just a dump, and the floors were that old style rotary cut veneer floors in bad shape. You know what I mean? And so I thought, nah, I don't know about this job. So I gave her a price, and she sat down and goes, "Oh my God, I could never afford anything like that. I just, I have family coming over, and I haven't seen them in like 15 years. And I just don't want them to see my house in shambles like this." And she like she's going to start crying and stuff, right?
Oh,
So,
she gotcha. Huh?
yep.
She got old softy. She played you. Yeah, go ahead, keep
So,
going.
so I said, and honestly, if you're going to do any sanding to this floor at all, you have to expect the price is going to be this and this. This is much cheaper than I would normally even do it for. But she goes, I know, honey. I guess I don't have any money to do the job. I'm sorry. So I'm like, oh man. I mean, it's like old Yeller just died.
You're right.
So I take my brother.
Sir, I didn't really realize how poor I was until I
Yeah.
saw your estimate, and now I feel even worse.
So, and we didn't, so I pulled my brother aside. I go, John, I said, it's Friday, man. I said, you know what? Maybe we'll just wax and buff the floor, wax the floor, number 2 steel wool, wax it real good, and at least shine it up a little bit and everything for it, and it'll be presentable for it'll look better, right? But we're not going to break
Right.
out the sanders. And I said, look, let's just charge her $40. We'll go to breakfast, whatever. It was nothing. It was we might as well said do it for free, but that's just $40, cover the wax, whatever. So she goes, "Oh gosh, that would be great." We don't now we get waxed because we didn't do wax. We didn't wax floors. I can't remember. It was tree wax. Went down there. We got the wax. We got the number 2 steel wool. We came back, and we're putting effort into it. You know what I mean? Like there's some paint, some overspray right here, the little paint chips. I'm on my hands and knees. I'm buffing that out. We move the furniture.
You don't know how to do a quick job, right?
No, so we're turning this into a regular job.
Right.
Well, we buff the and Rob, I'm talking about $40 freaking dollars, right? It's nothing. It's nothing. So we buff the floor real nice, and I've steel wool and everything, and we can put a nice shine on it, nice wax shine on it, whatever. But it's like putting lipstick on a pig. But so we got done and everything. I said, "Well, there you go," and she goes, she goes, "Are you done?" I said, "Yes." She goes, You mean that's it? I go, "Yes." She goes, "Well, an old washwoman could have done that." I look at my brother and he starts laughing so hard. And I said, "You know what, ma'am?" I said, "Keep the $40. I said, I hope you have a good time with your family and do whatever." So that was it. So that's talk about, man, that there's a lesson in life there. There's 2 lessons in life I got. And one I got from a guy named John Bucciolato, who was a Golden Gloves boxing champion. I was a kid. I got in a fight with this kid in Germany, and I was beating the kid up, right? I mean, I beat him up for all intents and purposes. I beat the kid up, and I let him up because, as far as I'm concerned, dude, you're on the ground. I won. It's over, right? So I get up. It was on an army base. I get up. I'm kind of wiping the sand off my pants and everything. The dude cold cocked me in the side of my face so freaking hard. And this army guy was there, and he picked me up. Whatever, and, it's a long story, but John told me this, something I'll never forget: is never give a sucker an even break. And so there's a lesson there. So anyhow, that was my being too kind, and it backfired on me.
It's something I never knew about you that I've been learning through the podcast stories is you have fought people all over the world.
Yeah, international fighter.
You're an international fighter. Yeah, forget about MMA. You've
absolutely
English, Irish, German.
Beat up by everybody.
Yeah.
So anyhow,
Wayne Highlander, beatings from around the world with Wayne Highlander.
So what I'm getting at is, you start adding up all these things that you throw in for free, and you could fill up 2 weeks of your work schedule doing that and not charging for it. So you can't throw darts at the wall. It's not a good business practice. So I really, in this time that we're going through, it may be different next year, but right now, the game has absolutely changed. So I think we really have to communicate this to the homeowners and clients who we work for. And also, it may be that, okay, we got to go up another $1 a foot because of what the material costs. Maybe you have to go back down later on, but maybe you don't have to go all the way back down. Maybe it's an opportunity to kind of even up where you really should be, whatever, if you get my meaning.
Another thing, and I know I've talked about this before, it was something I learned from my uncle. I think I haven't talked about it recently, but since we're talking about estimates, I'll say it again. Never do something for free and not put it down on the estimate or let the people know that this was done at no charge. Because that's just money in the bank, money in the bank on your estimate. You only have one shot usually. And when you start, oh, you'll do this for free and that for free, but you're not writing it down, make it a line item, write it down, and then write across no charge, whatever it is. And even if you're burying it into the square foot cost or whatever, make sure that they see the line item and there's no charge. The other thing about doing that, now there's no haggling either, Now when you give them that price and they say, hey, well, can we do it for $1 less or this or that? Well, look at the things that I gave you there. You got 3 things that I didn't charge you for. And I think when people start seeing something like that too on the estimate, maybe that's going to keep them from wanting to little haggle because you've kind of already done the haggling. Like, I did this for free. I'm going to do that for no charge. I'm using the anti-slip in the stairs for no charge. Those little things They're going to keep you from the haggling. But I don't know if there's a lot of haggling going on with people that I'm talking to. There's no reason to haggle anymore
No,
because,
nope.
it's not how much, it's when can you get in here and get it done. Everybody wants
Yeah.
stuff done. Everybody.
Yep. My last thing is this not a bad idea? Sometimes make sure you put the contingencies in there. If you're pulling up an existing floor or you're pulling up carpet or whatever, that if you run across water damage, that it says in there that, hey, if in the event that we run across water damage, we're not responsible for blah blah blah, or it needs to be an extra price per square foot. Because I also don't like those conversations. I don't like those. I don't ever go back to and ask for more money. I just flat out. I don't think I ever did, unless it's something 100% completely blindsided that any reasonable person say that's not. But to put stuff like that in writing, I think is also stops that conversation from,
You got to go back to the Highlander contract. That contract that, man, how many of those contracts have we sent out since that show?
Probably a couple hundred at least.
At least, yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember that there was a contingency on that contract, so
Yep.
that was perfect.
So that's all we're saying is just be aware that the times have changed. I mean, just right now, maybe we're in this right now, this critical moment of where prices are going up, the delays in getting product into the country with the shipping, the container companies around the world are in a mess. And so,
but it's also, like you said, it's also a great opportunity to raise your prices too.
Yeah.
Now's the time.
Yeah.
Now is the time. Everything's going up. Your prices have to go up too.
Yeah. No. And you will surprise nobody by doing this. And if anybody poor mouths about it, come on, they know that. I mean, and
Move on.
Look at the price of gas alone. You're not gonna charge more that the gas just went up. Another buck a foot. Or a buck a foot, a buck a gallon. So
buck a foot.
Buck a foot would be pretty expensive.
Yeah. Since January, gas is in the town I live in, Castleton, New York, the pilot station. Since January, it's gone up 80 cents a gallon.
Yeah.
Since January.
Yeah.
So in 6 months, it's gone up 80 cents a gallon.
Now you start adding up how many gallons you use a year, and I'm telling you, it's just like how floors are a little thing. You rarely get beat on a job because of something major, right? I mean, it's usually something small. I mean, this whole industry of doing hardwood floors is made up of very, very small things, small details. And it's usually the small detail that gets you on a job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the same thing with your business part of this job is that, you're not gonna go out of business because you're charging, $3 a foot too little or too on your installations. You know what I mean? It's going to be that it was 25 cents a square foot more on this part of the job, 15% more on this job. All these little things, these little things that at the end of the year, like I said, it ends up to being, man, we had a fantastic year this year, or we've worked our ass off way too hard to be where we're at. So we speak from experience, Rob and I, and with peace and love. We want to see everybody do well, man. In this industry, whether you're a Bona user or not.
Sometimes tough times can be good times too, and I think it's going to be great times for floor guys.
Yeah,
a great time to raise their price because there is a lot of work out there, a ton of work. I mean, guys, just everybody that I've talked to is having trouble keeping up with everything.
Yeah. So, okay, that's it. And thank you for listening. Thank you, Rob. Always appreciate it, man.
All right.
We look forward to. Actually, we got a couple cool episodes coming up. I'm pretty excited about. So please stay tuned for another episode of On the Floor with Wayne and Rob. And thank you very much.